Hello and welcome back to another episode of Don't Call Me Skinny. Thanks for being here with me today. We're a little bit late, but we're doing the thing because that's what we're doing, right? We are getting ready to go to Florida, and it's kind of like a whirlwind of life right now. Lots of great things going on. My in-person training starting to pick up, which I love. Got some new stuff on the horizon for some athletic training for teens, which I'm really excited about. New program, partnering with some great people for another program I'm doing. So there's lots of change, but lots of moving parts happening right now. But I'm really excited to be here with you and serve you on this podcast today. So if you are new to this podcast, welcome. I'm Sarah. I'm owner and operator of CP Fitness, and I'm super excited to be here with you today. Thanks for tuning in. If you are a regular, thanks so much for joining. If you love this podcast, please screenshot, share, tag me at the _basics _B_ on Instagram. Tag me, share. I am word of mouth. So you getting me out there is how I get out there. Okay. So I appreciate you for that. Also, if you could rate and review this podcast on Spotify, Apple, that'd be super awesome. Love you so much for that as well. I love you anyway. What are we talking about? Okay, so I want to talk about a little bit more in depth. I actually just recently did a little mini version of this on TikTok, but I really want to talk about what your weight loss strategy is, because I feel like we are very confused on what an actual strategy is versus just like a program that you buy into and or something that you do, okay? So when I talk about an actual strategy, that means that there is an actual like almost step-by-step guide or process that you are going to be taken through. In my program, I call this process the Empowered by the Basics method. It's 3 different phases. So oftentimes my clients will come in, and what their data or intake information is really determines on where do we start in the process? Where are you actually at? If you've come in and you have been chronically dieting, trying to lose weight, you're all over the map, you do nothing very consistently, and you're very good at doing nothing consistently, we're starting in phase 1. We are starting in the basics, okay? This is the basics build. This is where we are building you a foundation. I've talked about my processes before, and I'm just going to go into a little bit of depth into them, but the basics build, this is the very first place that I would have you start. And there's a reason why. If you can't master the basics, like at least the majority of what we got going on here, it doesn't fucking matter. I can put you in a calorie deficit all fucking day. If you can't be consistent with it, it doesn't fucking matter, right? So you have to be willing and able and ready to build a foundation. If you're not ready to build a foundation, this program is not for you. Okay. This strategy will not work. Okay. But let's say you've been tracking your food, but you're pretty solid at it, but you're actually, you haven't been trying to diet. You're just kind of like, yeah, I've just kind of been going out with my life, right? Like nothing's like you're not unpurposefully, intentionally trying to lose weight. Okay. And it's been that way for probably 6+ months. Now, I am still going to make sure that you are drinking water, getting in movement, being consistent with those things. What does your sleep and stress look like? What does your fiber intake look like? What's your protein, right? These are also things that I'm going to look at before we start doing anything. Okay. So, but you might have those a little bit more mastered, or maybe you're just like, it takes you a little bit less time than somebody else to master those. You'll probably hit the next phase of the process, which is the basics burn, AKA your calorie deficit, a little bit faster, right? If you're somebody who is like, you're like, I'm on it, I'm ready to motherfucking change, and within 2 months, we got all these things covered, and you're like, okay, let's go. Okay, we can go then into that next phase. This is not something that this is not a phase that we stay in when we don't need to be in it, right? If we can go into that calorie deficit phase in that second part of this strategy, we go for it, right? Then we have the basics and beyond. This is where we learn to live beyond the diet phase, beyond doing all the calorie deficit things, living life, incorporating things after we lose the weight. How do I maintain? This is what nobody fucking talks about, okay? This is a strategy. We go here, we move here, we have here. We have certain criteria that I am looking for to make sure that you can move into the next phase, into the next step, into the next stage of the process. there is specific criteria that I am looking for. If you cannot track your food, you cannot be in a calorie deficit, period. You cannot. You're not ready for that, okay? So there are specific criteria that I am looking for. And I do this whether you come in to group coaching, there are still phases in group coaching, whether you're one-on-one client, it doesn't matter. The process is the same, right? It's going to look different. Obviously, it's going to be implemented in everybody's life different because no two people are the same, but it's going to be the same. I'm looking for the same criteria. The stages don't change, okay? But it's just how you get there, when you get there, what it looks like for you specifically is going to be different than for somebody else, okay? However, the majority of us out there are saying that your weight loss strategy is just being in a calorie deficit or doing keto or Optavia or getting the weight loss shot or insert whatever thing, Herbalife, Weight Watchers, carnivore. These are not strategies. This is not a weight loss strategy. There is no guide. It's just like, here, eat your calorie, eat your fucking points, eat this boxed food that tastes like trash, eat whatever over here. Don't eat carbs. Carbs are the devil. They're really bad for you. There is no process. There's no strategy. There's no criteria. And worse, more so than anything else, the worst part about it is there's no exit. There is no exit. You heard me just say, in the very last phase, we learn how to live beyond dieting. We learn how to live after we have lost the weight, so we know how to maintain. There is not that process in those fucking programs. I want to say maybe Weight Watchers, but dude, you have to be within like a 2-pound weigh-in or some bullshit like that, as if like your weight doesn't fluctuate on your cycle more than that. Like, go fuck off. Seriously, fuck off with yourself. Go on, fuck off with it. Okay? This is why this is not a strategy. There is no help. There is no criteria. There is no beyond the diet. Weight Watchers wants you to be on the diet for fucking ever. I've told this story before, but if you're new here, I'll do a brief synopsis of this. I did Weight Watchers when Jaden was really little, so she's going to be 16 this week. I'm going to have 2 16-year-olds. When she was not even 9 months old, 9 months old is when I started. So she's going to be 16. You can do the math. Okay. Started Weight Watchers, lost 30 pounds, gained it all back and then some. Because of course I didn't actually fix the fucking problem. They just told me to eat no calories. Cool. Put me in a calorie deficit. Great job, Weight Watchers. Then when I started this journey 9 years ago, I also did it again. I started with it again because, like my husband encouraged me, like, hey, you saw some progress there the last time. Like maybe that's where we need to get just to get you going. And obviously I did it for maybe 2 to 3 months. I think I lost about 10 to 15 pounds on it. And then I stopped. And then I really got into macro counting and all that kind of stuff, which was awesome. Changed my life. Beautiful. Love it. Okay. Moving forward though, about 5 years after that, I was still getting the Weight Watchers emails. And I was like, why am I still getting this? And it wasn't until I got an email that literally said, join for life for $15 a month. For $15 a month for the rest of my life. And I did the math, right? If I live another 30 years, okay, that's one for 15 times 12 times 30. That's over $5,000 that I would pay over the course of the next 30 years of my life to Weight Watchers. For what? Would I even use it for 30 fucking years? Probably not. Like that was a key defining moment for me personally, where I was like, these motherfuckers just want me to pay them forever. Like that's stupid. I don't give a shit if it's $15 or $100 or $5,000 a month. I don't really care. The point is they just told me they want me to be a customer for fucking ever, which tells me they have no plan for me. There is no criteria. There is no way out of this with them. It's the fucking for life. It's fucking for life. That is not a strategy. That is not a weight loss strategy. That is a thing that you do to lose weight. And that's it. There is no help outside of that, right? And all these other programs are the exact same. Carnivore, keto. I everything. Herbalife, just drink 2 shakes. Yeah, you just want me to buy your fucking product for the rest of my fucking life. Hello, folks. Somebody told me the other day online too. Well, this is a while ago, but somebody told me that it's like the number 2 wellness company in the world. And I was like, no, no, that's false information. That's just false. Okay. So when I say things like this, there has to be some kind of strategy. Okay. Weight Watchers is not addressing why the fuck you can't stop eating Oreos. I've told this story too. And I talk about Weight Watchers a lot just because it's like that was one of my own experiences. But like, you know, they used to have all the in-person meetings and then people would get up and talk. And this lady's getting up and talking about like how she was consuming too much lettuce. And I'm like, listen, great. I'm so glad that you have this problem, but I don't have that problem. I consume too many donuts and brownies and cookies and Oreos and slices of lasagna. Okay. I don't have a fucking problem consuming too much lettuce. That's just not where I'm at in life. That's why I'm fucking here. Okay. It was so unrelatable, unfucking relatable, because essentially what happened to this person is she went from over consuming other food to over consuming health food, where you have this thing called orthorexia, where it's like, it's a eating disorder where you only eat quote unquote clean foods, right? It has to be like the perfect foods. You can't eat anything quote unquote bad for you. It can only be the good foods. So she just went from one pendulum side to the other. That's all she did. She just swung a different way. Okay, so that now you're having somebody get up here and talk about their eating disorder, unfortunately, about how she eats too much lettuce now because that's, you know, all that fit in her fucking calories. Because P.S., by the way, back in the day, lettuce cost you motherfucking points on lettuce. Okay. That, and the fact now that they have all these 0 calorie eggs, guys, eggs are 70 calories per egg. You have 5 eggs. Do the math. That's 350 calories. It's not free. They have energy. Okay. So lots of things that is not a strategy. It's not a strategy. It doesn't teach you about shit. Okay. It doesn't get to the root of the problem, right? Again, me going back to Weight Watchers, the root of my problem had nothing to do with the food itself. It had to do everything to do with my relationship with myself and my relationship with the food. The food that I was consuming isn't inherently good or bad. It's just literally how I choose to look at it. Oh, it made me feel good. Okay, I'm going to eat more. Then I'm going to feel bad. And then I'm going to stay on this shit cycle for fucking years, like I've been my whole life. Okay. It didn't do anything for me. There is no strategy there. It did not help me create a better relationship with the food. In fact, it only exacerbated a poor one. It like pulled the curtain open like, oh, you really do have a fucking problem. But this is not the answer, but we're just going to keep taking your money anyway. That is not a weight loss strategy. A strategy has a start point, and I don't want to say an end point, but kind of, right? Clients that come to me, I can think of honestly, one of my very first clients who came to me, former athlete, grew up with her, big softball player, and she was unhealthy and unfit, and it bothered her. So we worked together for a year to year and a half, something like that. And literally she lost like 30, 40 fucking pounds. And she's not been my client almost 3 years at this point, 3 to 4 years. Like she was in the very beginning of my business. Still has the weight. When I see pictures of her, I get so excited because she looks like a hot snack still. I was like, fuck yeah, we did that, right? I mean, we did that. She did it. She executed it. I just guided her. I'm like, hey, this is what you need to do. She bought in. She was like, let's go. You just tell me all the things. I'm here to learn. I'm here to ask questions. I'm here to soak it all up. Tell me what I need to do. And it wasn't like, tell me what I need to do, I'll do it, right? It's like, teach me what I don't know. That's where she came from. Teach me what I don't know so that I can do this and implement this. And we figured out, how do we make it work in your life? How do we do that for her? Her life looked different. She had dogs she had to take care of. She had, she has no kids. She works a lot, right? Those kinds of things, like that's the reality for her. We had to figure out, how does this work into her life, right? That's part of the basics build. In the very first one is like figuring out, how do these pieces fit into your life? That is a strategy. We should not be changing our entire life to get that thing to work. We have to figure out, how does this work here in my home, in my life, with my days, my routines? It doesn't mean that we don't have to change things. It doesn't mean that we don't have to, I don't want to say sacrifice, but compromise on certain things. That's going to have to happen. You want something to change, you have to change. Okay. But there's a strategy behind it. And it doesn't mean that you have to give up everything and you have to overhaul your whole fucking life. What it means is that you have to figure out, what am I not willing to give up and what am I willing to give up or change or look at differently or shift maybe? And how does that fit now? And how can I make this work little by little by little by little, and let that compound effect happen? Go boom, boom, boom. And then every day it's just a compound effect. Every single day it just adds up on top of each other. And before you know it, you're 20 pounds down. And before you know it, you're 40 pounds down and looking like a hot fucking snack. Boom. So this is crucial. Your little fucking diet over here that you've been trying to do and redo and get back on and do all the things over and over again isn't a fucking weight loss strategy. It's not an actual process. It's just the diet. It's just going to say, this is how you lose weight. Okay, go. There's so much more to this. Okay, this is key. This is what I do. Fat loss basics, group coaching, one-on-one coaching. This is what I do for a living. This is what I do for my life. There has to be a process. There has to be a guide, a plan. We're not just throwing shit at the wall and saying, man, I really fucking hope it works. It's not how this works. And it's why you continue to stay stuck. I mean, one of the probably multitude of reasons. There's so many reasons, right? I go back and I look at, that's why. Oh, that could be it. Yep, that's definitely part of my problem. That was definitely what I use, right? I go back and look at all the things that kept me stuck, and it's all the same shit that I see everybody out there doing. That's the reality. So if you need a process, if you need an actual strategy, I have that. That is what I do. And I would love to have you. Hope you guys have a great Monday. I will catch you on Wednesday's episode.